I'm Laura Ranieri of Ancient Egypt Alive, and I'm so excited to be here with Dr. Emily Teeter, who is a research associate with the Oriental Institute in Chicago and a very renowned Egyptologist. Do you remember your first big break? It's not easy to become an Egyptologist.
No, it's not. I do remember it, and it was because of a colleague who helped me. I was just finishing my graduate work, and I was in the right place at the right time. And the big touch show of the 70s was touring North America. And I had worked on it as a research assistant in Chicago. And then it turned out that the people from the Seattle Art Museum came to Chicago to see how we had done the show. They wanted to hire an Egyptologist. I'm from Seattle.
Oh, okay.
And so they said, well, why don't you hire Emily? And so it was amazing. I was very young at the time, and I ended up in this incredible job, very high-profile job, working with the Touch Show, and it really made my career.
Did you always know as a little girl you wanted to do Egyptology?
I did go through a phase when I was probably, maybe 5th or 6th grade. It's sort of like the dinosaur mummy phase, and I settled on the mummy. So I'd actually forgotten about this. My aunt reminded me. I at one point had a little Egyptian museum in the basement, and I would invite my friends in from the neighborhood to see it. But I had actually forgotten about it, so that was somewhere way in the back of my memory. So it wasn't really until I was in college that I started getting interested. I was very interested in history, and I thought, the Middle East, ancient Middle East, that's kind of cool. So I started through the languages. I first started Akkadian.
You started with Akkadian? I
started with Akkadian at the University of Washington because they didn't offer Egyptian. And I did that for a little while and thought, it's not really me. And then I started studying Egyptian, and it was just fascinating because the idea of being able to read what the ancient Egyptians had written about themselves, and of course the whole hieroglyphic language is so beguiling, and so that really set it. And since then, it's been my career. I've been doing this for a long time.
What has been your favorite, say, excavation experience over there? Do you have any great stories from?
Nothing very dramatic, but I really did enjoy the time when I had a fellowship from the American Research Center in Egypt to spend 6 weeks in Luxor just looking at the temple walls, because I was collecting examples of unpublished scenes that pertain to my dissertation, and I was looking at the chronology of them, the setting of them, the sequencing of them. It turned out to be really a very interesting thing. My field is Egyptology, not archaeology, but I have had the opportunity to, for example, work briefly with the underwater team in Alexandria, which was a lot of fun. So my job was to help them interpret objects as they pulled them out of the bay.
What do you think makes the Oriental Institute here very special among Egyptology collections, or collections of ancient Egypt?
Well, the Oriental Institute's Egyptian collection is not the largest, or perhaps the best, in the United States, but it is very, very complete, and a lot of it is excavated, which is very important. And also the fact that we present it as we do, and I think in ways that the public can relate to. And it's also, I think it's a special collection because it's presented in context with the other ancient Middle Eastern cultures. So the Oriental Institute Museum is one of the few places in the world where you can go and you can see things from Egypt, and then you can go into the Persian Gallery and see what was going on at the same time as the New Kingdom. You can go into the Mesopotamian Gallery and get an idea of what they were doing in that part of the world. So it's really this wonderful broad view, putting Egypt in context of the entire ancient Middle East.
What is your personal favorite piece, or a couple of pieces, if you had to say?
It's a hard question, isn't it? I'm very partial to, we have a small ostracon, a piece of limestone that has a record of the first labor strike in history in the reign of Ramses III. And it's not a beautiful piece, it's inscribed in hieratic, but what I like about it, and my other favorite pieces, are things that tell us something about the ancient Egyptians. It's maybe not an art piece, but it says something about the culture, it says something about relationships, it says something about the economy. So it gives you a window into what life was like in Egypt thousands of years ago. And to me, that's what's so interesting about this field, is trying to reconstruct what was going on.
What are you most proud of in your career so far?
What am I most proud of in my career?
Yes, as an Egyptologist.
I love working with objects. Absolutely love working with objects. And so I love doing installations. I love trying to make connections with visitors to get them to understand something about Egypt. For example, if they can see a direct connection with their own life, For example, oh, these people had jobs, I've got a job. Or look at that comb, it looks just like the comb I have on my dresser. These sorts of things to me are really, really important because it makes people care. It's not abstract. And to me, that's the real goal of being a historian or an Egyptologist, is to interpret the hard data, the very complex scholarship, and make it accessible to people, to get people really interested in understanding what the ancient world was about.
If you were a pharaoh, which pharaoh would you be?
Ooh, somebody with a very long life.
Well, maybe you would have been a priest or
Probably an architect.
an architect. Imhotep.
Yeah.
There you go. Dr. Emily Teeter, Oriental Institute. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming.